Hi everyone. It's Monday, it's history show. Got two great guests on tonight. Got my old partner anyway, the great international artist, Anthony Brown. And I just want a great guest. This fella is brilliant. The other one, I'm going to leave him as a surprise when I bring him on. But you will enjoy him. Believe you me, you will enjoy this man. It's great. It's great. Anyway, I just want to thank the sponsors of the Frank Carlyle Show. Gap Painting Services. Gap Painting Services. Gap Painting Services are first class. They really are. If you're an NHS worker, you get a special discount. You really do. And if you're a senior citizen, you also get a special discount. So get the work done, if it's too much for you. Get the work done, get these lads in. And even if you're not one of those people, those categories, you'll be able to get them in and at reasonable prices. At reasonable price. Honestly, I'm not just saying this, they're fully insured, they're fully time-served lads. They're in and out. They're in and out of your house. Or even if you've got a little commercial premises and it needs, sprucing up, get them in. Great prices. Honestly, I've had them in myself. And they can paint straight lines. Just like Anthony Brown, he can paint straight lines. I'm useless. He paints on the ceiling and everything. I've got to tell you this. Last week, lovely Lainey, Anthony's wife, and Anthony himself brought me to this. I was given a talk last week at this place, as I thought. But anyway, it was today. So I got there today. Right, went today. And I said to them, lovely people, honestly, the lovely people. And I said to them, with all the violence and everything else going on, with all what's going on throughout the world, and it's really shocking, and it's shocking everybody. I said, today I'm going to talk about just happy things. Just happy things. This is what, historical happy things. I ended up talking about wars and everything, civil wars, everything was that. Should have seen them all. They were all sitting there like. And at the end, I said, I'm awfully sorry. I thought it was going to be happy. And they went like that. We loved it, Frank. We loved it. And they loved it that much that I've invited back for October. They said, will you come back and finish some of them stories? I said, yeah, okay. Lovely, so it was just mad. No matter what goes in your minds and you think that you're going to talk about certain different things. Unbelievable. I just want to say hello before I bring these lovely people on. Chris, all the way from Montenegro, he says, greetings, Frank, Colin, and Anthony, the best history channel on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you. Say, Harmer. Well, he is, isn't he? He's harming everybody, is Tony LFC. Now then, Frankie, and a pint and a scotch and thumbs up and everything. And good evening, Frank. Hope you had a good day, says Paul Turner. I did, actually. Will P, lovely fella as well. Evening, Frank. I know he's a great fella, he is, believe you me. I didn't know you was on last night. I didn't receive any notifications. Anyway, I've watched the replay of the show. I hope you enjoyed it, Paul, because it was a one-off thing. I never do Sundays. It's a day off for me. But it was a one-off. And so I decided, I was asked to do it. So we done it. And it was okay, actually. I was quite pleased about it. And Steve, you never walk alone, says, let's go, champ. So I'm going to bring on Anthony and my special guest. Love this fella. And there's Anthony, the fella he went to a birthday party today and never invited me.
You were busy waging warfare.
No, it's only joke, you know, mate.
Or innocent people who were trying to have a cup of tea and listen to you.
Should have seen it. That girl was lovely, you know that barmaid, the manager.
Yeah.
She came right over and she said, "Do you want a drink?" Because it was warm, as you know. And I said, "Yes, please." She made us, because I was brought up, maybe a lovely drink. I said, "Thank you so much. Thank you. Really nice, So, and she was asking about you, by the way. She said, where's your friend?" I said, "What friend?" She said, "The friend who brought you and his wife." I said, "Oh," I said, "I chased them." And she just looked at me. So I said, "No, I'm only kidding." I said, "He's at a birthday party today, so he couldn't bring me." I said, "But I'm here." Very, hi, Frank. Hi, Very. Tony, evening out me, Tony.
Evening, Tony. Thank you very much.
There's your pints. There's your scotch there. That's all you drink. And Paul Turner says, "Yes, it was good with you, JK and Jamie. Really enjoyed it as always. Thank you. That's last night's show." And good evening, Anthony. Hope you're okay, says Paul Turner.
Thanks, Paul. I am sure too. Thank you.
And there's our special guest. You never met this fella. He's good, He's a filmmaker. Colin Hives.
Hello, Francis. How are you?
I'm a Whitney. I say you're the one of three fellas who called me.
I just want to start by saying that it's a privilege to be on with the most hacked man on the internet. You've been hacked more times than WikiLeaks. Every time I see you, you've been hacked. I don't even know if it's really you I'm looking at now. I don't know. It could be anybody.
Colin,
AI.
Honestly, I can't get back on. That's how bad it is. And whoever hacked me has been asking people for money.
Really?
So
you should be getting all those people who are asking for money on the internet off you. You should just pay up. You've got enough money these days. You're doing all these talks to people who don't want to hear you.
Oh, yeah.
You must be making a fortune, fella.
But what has happened was I've been. They say, "Oh no, it's for you can't. We're not letting you back on. It's for deceit and fraud." I said, you can't get through to them. I said, being hacked on, it's those who are there. I said, "You look at my posts anytime from my being on Facebook. I've never done that in my life, ever." I said, and I very rarely use Facebook, with posts, but that's the way it is. And Paul Turner, hello, Colin.
Hello, Paul.
Will P.
Cracking picture there.
Rich. Yeah. It is. You're a big red.
Not the plane. Yeah, big red.
I Colin Ives says Will P.
Hello, Will P. Strange name. Will P.
No, that's his username.
I had an idea that's what it was, Frank.
Yeah, it's a username. No, he's a cracking fella, believe you me. They're all nice on here, to be honest. They're all nice. And
we'll see. I'll be the judge of that, Francis. I'll tell you later on.
There's Sony there sending you a Scotch. Yeah, see, you can't get any better than that. Tony loves throwing loads of Scotches and beers at me for some reason. Scotches are, aren't they? But anyway, listen, so let the people know a little bit about yourself, Colin. I know what you do. And as I said in the intro, that you're a filmmaker and you make all, different kinds of films and whatever. So what's your latest project and what's your future project?
Well, we haven't made a film since before COVID. It's that long since we've actually made anything. Yeah. Nobody's. Wow. I didn't want to go out, so You know, I've
No,
just film the cat and the dog, and that's about it. But we're hoping to get started again towards the end of this year and next year. But we've got loads of stuff going at the moment. We're doing a play in November.
Oh, yeah.
At the Art Bar in Hope Street. We've got a play on. So that's taking up all our time at the moment. But filming next year, hopefully. Hopefully, if I can be bothered getting out without my contamination suit on.
You'll be all right. What about...
It's with contamination suits. I might get out, I might get mobbed. I might get, the world we live in at the moment. It's a tough place out there, Frank.
It is.
I'm staying here. I go to work in the morning, come back and lock myself in, put the barricades on the windows.
Well, what about, this, can you give us so many, synopsis or a little summary about the play that's going to...
The play is a bunch of monologues and sketches from over the last 20 years. We've cobbled them all together, cobbled them being a good word, them all together and put them into an 80-minute, 90-minute long play with a bunch of great actors. A few who aren't so great, but we'll work on them. November the 8th at the Hope Street Bar, the Arts Bar on Hope Street. It should be fun. I'm nervous as hell. I've really got not much to do with it. I wrote up most of the stuff was already pre-written, so I've just sort of handed over, added a few extra things. And a mate of mine, Merv Jones, and another actor, Paul Taylor, they've jumped on board with it, and they're doing it. I'm just sitting back, and basically, that's that. As I get older, I like to sit back and do nothing.
No, I think it's a good idea. It's an unusual idea to have monologues, in a play, because you had that talking heads, didn't you? That's on the same.
Well, this is a little bit like that. It's like a bunch of actors, like there's 12 to 15 actors, and they all do like a 3 or 4 minute monologue, but it all gets linked at the end, and it's all and then there's sketches as well. And there's a couple of 3 and 4 people sketches, which are about 3 or 4 minutes each. So it's
So how long does the play last?
It should be about 80 minutes. I think we're going to have an interval, just so people don't get people need a drink, don't they, after about 45 minutes. So I know I'll need a drink after about 45 minutes.
Well, I wrote a play. I still
want to hear this song as well, by the way.
What song?
You did a song, didn't you, years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Jason. He put us on last week.
Did he? I'll have to.
He put us on, and I was, But anyway, I wrote this play, and I was putting it on, and it was all set to go in the concert room, St. George's Hall. And for June the 28th or something like that, it was opening for a week. And people were all looking forward to it and whatever. And then COVID.
Yeah. It just scuppered everything, especially Liverpool. I mean, there's a lot of damage in Liverpool at the moment, and it just killed the whole
of damage.
Yeah.
For everybody. And I'm not just talking about me, you, or, there was lots of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, stuff way more important than what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tragic.
Yeah.
It was tragic.
But it just took time to sort of gradually people to be just get themselves back on track again. It's hard to do. Same with theatre and film.
Anthony, what about you, and COVID? Because I've never ever asked you really. Did it affect you?
I think like all of us, it impacted on all of us different ways. I mean, for us personally, we moved out to the studio that we'd had a few years on Liverpool waterfront, and it was that weird thing of do we find somewhere closer to home, or is everything was kind of out of bounds, really. You didn't want to leave the house. When that kind of shutdown came, we just held up with the kids. We just stayed here with the kids and the cat, and then thought, if I'm going to do anything, I'll work from home. And that's kind of been the way since. I think it's impacted on so many people because that connection that we have with life going on around us stopped.
Well, it is. It seems everything had stopped, but the way everything is now, and there was no need for lockdowns. This is what's come out. There was no need for it, and that's the shocking thing, because the lads who I had in the play had a great cast, known people, and Jake Abraham,
Yeah.
he was in the cast. And you know what happened? You know, he died.
Yeah.
But, you know, I said, I'll put it on this year as a tribute to Jake, because Jake was he was made up with the script. Everyone, you know, who had the script was made up with it. And the unfortunate thing is, I had the backing and everything. When COVID hit, I had the backer, but I haven't seen. I think the backer's gone to Australia. I think the backer went to Australia, so that's gone, unfortunately. Anyway, one of the lads said, Harmer, I said, what topics are we talking about? What I want to say is this Wednesday, and you'll see them on the clips, but it has nothing to do with the clips. On Wednesday, I asked the viewers, you know, would you like me to do some murders, famous murders? And they said, yeah, that would be great. So I'll be doing that on Wednesday. So just like a preamble to the Wednesday, you'll see clips at, 9 o'clock when we break for 9 o'clock. You'll see some clips about, a couple of murders and whatever. And but it won't be them I'll be doing. It'll be others that'll be famous and not so famous.
Infamous.
Well, this is this Wednesday, yeah. I'll be doing them, and a couple of cases. They take about an hour each, so it'll be good for the. The viewers if they like. Well, they wanted murders, so that's what it's about. Care, and I'll be talking after the break about loads of history that'll come in. But I don't think it'll be happy history. I just don't like I said to these creators. Oh, happy history. Well, happy history is I had so intention. Even the lads who brought me over, he turns around and said, Frank, is that happy? I went like that. No. I said, my trainer thought it just went out. And that was it. But the people enjoyed it anyway. The people, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I'm just going to get this. I'm awfully sorry. This lady keeps... Oh, that's shocking, that. Yeah, this lady, she came over to me. I got the greatest compliment. And she said, I've come all the way from Wigan. She said, my husband was a Scouser. And he said, you've got to listen to this man. Anyway, this is yonks ago. And her husband died. And she'd just come out of hospital and made her way here. Well, to over the water, all the way from Wigan. And she had my photograph taken with me, and I went like that. I'm not get the woman who took the photograph. Said, is that what you normally do? I said, yeah, that's my favourite smile. Jesus, it's mad. Chris Dick says, Paul Turner, I also saw yesterday's show today. I like the comments by Steve. Stevie, yeah, he was really, up for it. It was Steve, You'll Never Walk Alone. Gary Rigby, Evening, Frank and Guests. So this play that you're actually doing, well, the monologue, like a talking heads, isn't it? Has it got a title? And how much of it?
It's called The Collection, believe it or not. We did film them. We filmed them about 4 or 5 years ago. Just talking heads, basically. We did 2 sets of them, and then one of the actors who I know, Paul Taylor, he phoned me one afternoon and said, "Why don't we do this as a play, as an evening? Get all the original actors, get some new ones as well." And it's just basically a case of getting everyone back involved again to do stuff. So, as I say, we haven't made anything film-wise for 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah. Before that, we were making
you were
5 or 6 short films a year for the last 20 years.
You were very, very active. You want to do my play? You want to film my play?
Film your play, yeah. Well, we did a feature film 15 years ago now. We did a feature film called Jimmy Wild with Sam Kelly. And then Leslie Crowther's daughter.
Go away.
We did that about 15 years ago. He was just absolute genius. The man was. Yeah, he was. We were all a bit scared when he come down from Twickenham just to work for a day with us, and he was unbelievable. The stories, oh my God, the stories he had about people like John Thor, Dennis Waterman. Worked with everybody. Legend, absolute legend. Yeah.
I loved him in Hello, Hello.
Yeah, he's brilliant in it. I mean, the show, I'm not too fond of the show now, but he was brilliant. He was excellent in everything he did.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. He was, and a Liverpool actor.
Yeah.
Liverpool actor. The talent that comes from this city.
Yeah, he went to SFX. He went to SFX, didn't he? He took us back. One of the things he asked us for, he said, "Could you drive me to the old SFX building?" And he got his photo taken, and we took his photo outside. So that was 15 years ago now.
That's incredible.
Crazy.
That's absolutely incredible.
And one of the lads went, "Should we try and get Sam Kelly?" He was only in one scene. He played a grave digger. And someone said, we were trying to get some other actors, and Hugh Bennett we tried to get. And he said he wanted too much money, Hugh Bennett. And we didn't have any money. Low budget films, you have no money. So one of us said, "Well, just try Sam Kelly. You can only say no." And basically he said, "If you pay me to come down, train fare down, I'll do it." And we picked him up at Lime Street at like 9 o'clock in the morning. We took him out for dinner late in the night, and that was basically it. He was absolutely brilliant, absolutely. And then I stayed in touch with him right up until he died a few years ago.
But that's that's a scouser for you.
No, he was
just a scouser.
Some people you can't, some people you say, "Oh, they're lovely," and but he was on a different level, and such a great. Knew everything, knew asking me questions, and I was like, "Oh no. Sam Kelly, Ronnie Barker, what are you asking me for?" And he was like, "No, I just want to." And he was superb. Like the ladies as well, did our Sam.
Like the ladies, eh?
Like the ladies.
But you get these, you ask people to do something, the likes of Sam, and there's no hesitation. No, and they do it. It's like me, I've asked people to do things, and they've done it, no qualms, no nothing. And they just say, like you.
Yeah.
You were asked to come on here. I said to Jason, the producer, I said, try and get Colin Hives on. And there you are, Colin.
There they are.
You know what I mean? There's no qualms.
Well, that's the thing. I think, especially theatre and film in our city, a lot of it is based on favours. People do just favours that you can't repay most of the time, but it's just a city for you, isn't it? The people are just, well, I'll
Oh,
do
yeah.
it. If you like it, they'll do it most of the time. If they haven't got, if they don't have time,
Where do you sorry, go on, Anthony. What was you going to say?
All I was going to say with Colin then, which is quite right. It's kind of a it's a barter system for creativity, really, isn't it? It's just nice to be around other people who give out that, whether they be singers or actors or whatever. We've got a city full of them.
Yeah.
But and it's not.
They feed you as well. They feed your creativity. You see, there's some so talented people in this city who just haven't got a break or haven't got that little, and you just think, oh my God, you are so good. Why aren't you?
Such a body.
It's luck. It's luck, isn't it? It's luck. It's. I don't think it's as much talent anymore. It's mostly right place, right time, right face, right time.
Yeah.
And not so much on. Right. If you've got talent as well, fine, superstar.
Yeah.
It's just getting in that door. It's just getting in that door.
There's a thing that I fought against for years when I was younger. That line of it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. And that's wrong. You gotta, you do your stuff, whatever your stuff, and if you're a guitar player or whatever you are, you get to a level. But then the older we get, we realize it's not the case. You can have the talent, you can have as much talent, but it's just getting the opportunity to appear in that play or whatever else.
Yeah, it's just getting yourself out there. Yeah.
I always remember going up to the Good Turns and talking to Ken Dodd. I was talking to him, and I mentioned about an ambition I had about immigrants, 3 sets of immigrants from Ireland, from Russia, and from Italy, and congregating. That's just what I wanted. I wanted to tell a story about them, but I had to film in Naples. I had to go to Naples to film. I had to go to Dublin. There was no way I could get to Odessa because it was war torn, and also Liverpool itself. And some of the characters that came into Liverpool was phenomenal. And I was talking to Ken at the Good Turns, just before we went in, and he went, "Come back and see me about that." That's power, because I told him the outline of what I wanted to do, and he died. He died on me, and so it's
Frank. Jake Abrams died on you. Ken died on you. I'm switching off now. Come on, Terry, let's go and do something else. The last 5 minutes here. My God.
But it's just one of those things. Something. It's like the COVID, isn't it? Something stops. Something stops you from doing something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And
it's not about that. It's about it's as Tony will probably tell you. It's not about someone stopping you. It's what you do instead. It's the other path you make, isn't it? I think it's not meant to be. So you go and do something else. That's how I. A lot of people I know, a lot of people who they have one big thing they want to do, and something gets in their way to stop them from doing that, and they don't do anything else. It's like that's just totally ruined them completely. Where you sink or swim, isn't it? So.
Well, it is sink or swim, and it's sink or swim on anything really. What we do, any profession that we're in, it's sink or swim. And if you can keep afloat, that's good, because unfortunately, people do sink without creeks, and it's bad. I always remember
good people sinking without trace. That's the scary thing.
I always remember
what happened to them. They were so good.
Well, I was walking up. You were mentioning about the talent here and whatever. And I I was invited along to a play, and Bruce Schofield and Stephen Fletcher. It was only a 2-man play. They were doing it, but they were doing it at. They were
Andrew
doing
Schofield
it.
was in my film as well, by the way.
What?
Andrew Schofield was in my film as well, by the way.
Well, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Now, here's what happened. And it was only in a little theatre down Seal Street. So anyway, you know, I was sitting next to Steve, and he said, "Are you going back to my party?" I said, "Where is it?" And he said, "It's up." I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll go up." Anyway, walking up, me and Stephen up to this place in Lacey Street where he was having it, this pub. I was saying about, I said, the acting there with Stephen and Drew, I said, it was fantastic. And do you know what he said to me? Drew Schofield's the finest actor ever to come out of Liverpool.
Totally agree.
That's what he said.
Totally agree.
That's what he said. I went, I'm not going to argue with that, you know.
Yeah. He's good mates. I don't know if you know Davey Edge.
Yeah, no, Davey.
You know Davey.
I've
worked with Davey a few times. A good mate. He's close friends with Drew, and he was telling us that Andrew could have done anything he wanted. He just wouldn't leave. He just wouldn't leave home. He just wouldn't. The kids and the family, and he just wouldn't go down to London to. That's why.
Well, there's his cousin
which
there.
Which is a great. Yeah. It's a great attitude if you're happy enough to do what you want to do and not go out anywhere. I mean, you saw him. I mean, he was in an episode of The Bill. I saw him in years ago, and he was amazing. He was the best thing in it. Wow, this guy could have been.
It's a brave attitude to have, really.
Yeah.
A lot of us go through a stage of when we're trying to get something off the ground, you're almost willing to nod and shake hands with anyone in the room to move what you want to do. And then there's very few of us who'll be steadfast and say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there because the kids, you know, I don't want to do that. And it's not, it's a wonderful, refreshing attitude to have. And he's always been like that. And
he's done well out of it. He's made a great decision. I mean, he could have been huge, fine. Could have been hugely successful, made loads of money, become a superstar. But I'm sure he's as happy as
But he's a superstar to us, isn't he, really?
Exactly. He's a Liverpool. He's an icon, isn't he, in the city? So
yeah, of course he is. Scouse icon. And, you know, there's his lads. His lad's a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Isn't he, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby, Hollywood.
They're all in the realm of film and movie and that he did, and you know, it's what a wonderful thing is that your dad inspires you to go out and do the same thing, and he is absolutely blown away with all the kids doing their thing in the business, you know, and most of us would agree. It's kind of a weird thing with anything creative or artistic, whether it be film or script writing or anything. There's the beauty of creating something, and then the downside sometimes or more times is the business angle of art. Which it can be a killer, and certainly can be a as you said before, Colin, it's one of those things that it can be a dead stop or it can be a door that opens.
Yeah.
No.
It's one of those doors as well. You know it's going to come. You know that you're going to hit that door at some point. It's how you get there ahead of the game going, well, if that doesn't happen, I'll go this way. But a lot of people don't have that I'll go this way. They just go, oh.
No.
It's ended. We've lost so many great actors, writers, directors because they never got the chance. They never got that break. Yeah. But then on the other side of that, you get people who are awful, and you go, oh, how the hell are you even here? What did you do? It's odd. It's just odd.
And there's, talking about actors and films and everything. There's a David Shakespeare. Good evening, Frank and guest. David Shakespeare. What a
Great
name.
name.
Absolutely the greatest name. And Ali Noose all the way from Romania. Good evening, he says. Good evening.
Ali,
You know, Ali is such a lovely fella, and he's a big red. He's a big red like us. And most of them on here are all reds, every one of them, because they like the history of Liverpool.
Yeah.
And when you look at Liverpool, it's incredible. It really is incredible. Can I just show you something here? Bear with me on this, lads. When you look at Liverpool, Liverpool's a mighty place. It's a mighty, mighty place on the River Mersey there. So it's separate. Here's something for you, Colin, about the name Mersey. Do you know what it actually means? It comes from the Mercian language, the old
Mercian way,
language.
yeah.
And it just means boundary. Means boundary. And that's the boundary of everywhere. And when you look at the whole of the globe, there's boundaries everywhere. And we've got the only Mersey in the world, the River Mersey. It's incredible that how Liverpool is so compact. And did you know that we're the only port in the world that a liner could come into the city centre, which is, the pierhead. But that's Liverpool. That's Liverpool, but you're going back again. And when you see that, just look at that. That was taken from a Frenchman who went up in a balloon in 1885. And this is what he did. And when you look at you can see there Central Station. You can see there Lime Street Station. You can see there, which is now a hotel, back to a hotel. And that's the Great Western, right facing St. George's Hall. But look at the Mersey there. Look at the amount of ships on the Mersey. It was incredible. It really was. So in the second half of the show, well, I'll be talking about these things. What it was like, the vibrancy, the history of it. Charles Dickens loved coming to Liverpool. Charles Dickens himself. Daniel Defoe, believe it or not, wrote half of his book. And next, I always forget this. It was in Church Alley, not Church Alley, back Castle Street, just off Fenwick Street, and that's where he wrote. What's his name? What did Daniel Defoe write? The fellow who was shipwrecked. It's gone out of my mind. Good God, come on. Oh, Robinson Crusoe. He wrote Robinson Crusoe, half of it there. He wrote half of it there. So you get all these people, the likes of Melville. He came over, who wrote Moby Dick, and he hated Liverpool. He said it's all grimy and everything else. He just hated it. The same as Nathaniel Hawthorne, he wrote the Scarlet Letter. He was a consul. He was the American consul. He couldn't wait to get back to the States. So you see, you have a different perspective of these people. You have a different perspective. The likes of Dickens loved it. He couldn't get over the vibrancy, the people. But as I said, there's lots of talent here anyway. I'll tell you another thing. there was a wonderful place called the Theatre Royal, which was in Williamson Square, and they decided to pull it down. And it was an ice storage place. It became an ice storage place, and they only pulled it down in 1970. 1970, they pulled it down, and yet the historical significance that it's at, you know, even Charles Dickens was an amateur actor, and he acted there. He acted there. Franz Liszt, he wrote half of it, his composition there. You know, Franz Liszt, one of his great things, you know, he wrote half of it there. So there's lots of history, you know, with this, and we knock it down. We knock it down, and that's the shame about Liverpool. Unfortunately, city planners I'm talking about. The city planners don't give a toss because half of them don't come from Liverpool, or they haven't a clue about what knocking up and down, and that's the shame about it. So that's you know, in the second half of the show, talking all about these. So what do you think about that?
You know your stuff.
Well, you know, it's not like knowing. It's I just didn't know it. Do you know that? I know that sounds daft, because what you see that's gone. You've only got to look at the overhead railway, the first of its kind in the world, the only electrified railway in the world. No one electrified. We had electrified signals. We had the very first electrified, get onto this, escalator in the world, so that people could go up, you know, on the escalator to the station itself, to the platform rather. And, you know, so we had that, and we knocked it down. It was a wonderful tourist attraction going back then. So you could imagine what it would be like now if we had it.
Yeah.
And there's no vision with people. And this is what I hate about it. This is what I hate about me knowing about it. So I'd rather, you know, just be ignorant, like, you know, people. Oh, why did they knock it down and all this? You know? And it's just one of those things, one of those unfortunate things. Like today, when I was talking about, you know, I didn't know what the person who took me over said, well, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know. I said, everything's off the cuff. But I want to talk about happy things. Talk about happy
No, but it's
things.
because of people like you, isn't it, that things like that stay in people's minds. It's people like you who keep stuff like that going. That must be. Have you always been? When did you start getting into the history of the city and everything from a young lad? Or
Okay, that's a good question, that, because I always bunked off school, and I went into the library around the corner on William Brown Street, the main library of Liverpool, and I used to read 5 people. I used to read Julius Caesar, Napoleon. You're not going to believe this, like another fellow, and there was hardly anything on this fellow, hardly anything. And his name was Marshal Zhukov. He was a Russian, he was a Soviet Union soldier, Marshal Zhukov. And he was like Montgomery in a way. He was like Montgomery. And so I read about him, and obviously Nelson, and 5 different people with the 5 different outlooks. And you're not going to believe this. Those 5 people, they didn't want wars. They didn't want wars. Napoleon, for example, he wanted wars to stop. He just said, why are we fighting each other? He wanted the whole of Europe to unite and trade with each other, believe it or not. And not many people know that. He wanted all people. And he was a great inventor. He was a great inventor. And do you know what he invented? Simple things that we take for granted. He invented, like the only way I can describe it is, the Foreign Legion. The Foreign Legion, they got a flap on the back, haven't they? The hat. He invented that to keep the sun off their neck. That's what he invented. He said, keep the sun off their necks of my soldiers. And the Foreign Legion are always kept that because of they're always in the desert. Anyway, he also invented, because he didn't like his soldiers who was getting back to him, they're foraging for food. They're always foraging for food. So do you know what he invented? Because, it was all perishable stuff. But they were taking out, to wars and whatever. So they always went out foraging for food. And he invented the tin can to preserve food. That's what he invented. So, and the buttons, the buttons on sleeves, we wear them today. You've got a jacket, you put it on, you've got buttons. And do you know what that was what that was for? I'm not going to believe this if you don't know. It's to stop that. Because he didn't let, he said, his soldiers are strong men. And he used to look at them and go, my soldiers are immaculate, but what's that on the sleeves? So he put buttons on them, on the sleeves. So, he wasn't just as people think that he was a tyrant and everything else. He wasn't. He was a great man. He was Napoleon. This is what I was reading at school. So I've always had an interest in history ever since then. I used to lecture about the Romans and Westwood Enterprise. Then I brought into the equation the French Revolution and the Russian Revolution and the English Civil War. So I brought that into my lectures at colleges. And what had happened, someone asked me, and it was a friend of mine, a man named Georgie Allen. He opens up a second chance college. And he said, will you come down and have a look and, walk? I said, yeah, okay. So I went down. I had the day off, funny enough. So I went down and they were having like a little lunch and Lord Liverpool was there. And he said, I remember you. I said, do you? He said, yes. Doctor. I went, oh, I said, yeah, so you remember. And I was chatting to him. Now, when everyone went, this is how I got into it. I was sitting down, genuine this. I was sitting down in George's office. There was only me and him there. I mean, he was having a cup of tea. So I made us a cup of tea. And the phone went. Hello? And it was a teacher. It was a woman teacher. Never forget this. And she said, I won't be coming in tonight. His first class was a local history class. And he went, but, and she said, no, I'm not coming in. Do you know what the excuse was? Going into the inner city and having a wheel stolen in a car. And he said to me, he said, will you take the class? I said, I know nothing about local history. He said, you must know something. I said, the only thing I know is about a couple of VCs, Liverpool VCs. That's all that I know. It's like the Beatles. I was asked to do these Beatles tours, and I said no. There are people from Japan and Germany and America who know more than me about the Beatles. There's no way. Albeit that I actually seen them when I was 14 years of age at the Locarno. But so I took that class that night, and I thought that he'd have someone else the following week, and he didn't. And he rang me up. He said, Frank, he said, listen, this is on the Friday evening, I think. I was just about to go out, and he said, "Will you?" I said, "No, George." I said, "I know nothing." So anyway, I said, "Okay, I'll do it. Do it as a favour." So the next day, I ran down the library, and I got a few things. And the few things that I got over the years, they were wrong. They were wrong. And that's why I did a DVD about Liverpool Unravelled. And I was unravelling myths, if you know what I mean. The myths that still surround Liverpool today. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So that's how I got into it, Colin.
Cool. Never looked back.
Yeah. One door opens, isn't it? That?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you just fall into things that you didn't even know you were going to get involved in.
Yeah. If we sit back and we imagine doing something and you think, can't do that because it's too big, and how can I get involved in something like that? And then sometimes it's down to one person.
Yeah.
You know,
planning is sometimes the worst thing you can do. Sometimes it's best just to go.
Yeah.
Just well, go for it.
I know this is a history show, and we'll be breaking in a moment. Get on to this. Sorry, not history, but Zubimendi rejects Liverpool move because they gave him till Wednesday. But the lads had his arm up his back by the Real Sociedad. They had his arm up his back. But we've said move on. We've got to, not him, us, Liverpool. We have to move on.
Someone said they had told him to he had to pay his own.
Yeah.
Fee. He had to pay his 56 million out of his own.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. You know, that was blackmail. That anyone could see it. And as Kay Harmer says, probably Edison over there. Yeah, I'd go along with Edison there. I like Edison. And Richard says, FSG ambition. Try to get top four, sign no players, no trophies, don't spend money, get a yes man, head coach in arm slot. That's the way it seems.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I have my football show tomorrow night. And Gary Rigby's hit the nail on the head and says, save the football talk for the football show, please. I'm a big red, but come on, this is the history show. So that's it, because Colin is a big red and Dear Anthony is a big red. So, you know, we're all reds. It's had to be red out. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a little break. Watch these clips, people, because it's as simple as this. This is more or less a preamble for Wednesday night's murders that I'll be presenting. Okay, I won't be telling you what murders I'll be presenting, but this one, just have a look at this. You have seen these before, by the way.
On October the 16th, 1883, there were two sisters known as the Black Widows, and they were arrested and charged with at least 4 murders. Today, they'd be known as serial killers. The two sisters, Catherine Flanagan and Margaret Higgins, were urged on by sheer greed. They lived around the Scotland Road area, Skirving Street, Latimer Street, and finally Ascot Street. In 1883, people did not move around. They stayed there for life. So what were these two sisters trying to hide? Could it be the fact that family members and lodgers went missing? So, who were the victims of the Black Widows? John Flanagan, 21 years of age, the son of Catherine Flanagan. Thomas Higgins, the husband of Margaret Higgins. Mary Higgins, aged 10, the stepdaughter of Margaret Higgins. Margaret Jennings, 18 years of age, a lodger. Each victim was slowly poisoned and died in agony. The deceased, Thomas Higgins' brother, Patrick Higgins, had thought something afoot here because he was very sharp. And what had happened, he found out that his brother, Thomas, had been heavily insured for £150. He informed the police in turn informed the coroner, and the coroner had stopped the funeral right away. 150 quid doesn't sound much today, but in those days, 1883, it would buy you 2 terraced houses. The police ordered the other bodies to be exhumed, and after the autopsy, they found out that every single one of them had died in the same way. They were poisoned. After the arrest of both Catherine Flanagan and Margaret Higgins, it was here on the 14th of February 1884 at St George's Hall they stood trial. And isn't it such an intimidating place? The trial had lasted 3 days, and the jury found them guilty. And it was from here that they were led to the holding cell, awaiting their fate. And this was the holding cell that the both sisters, the Black Widows, Catherine Flanagan and Margaret Higgins, had to wait and then brought up to Kirkdale Jail. The cell itself looked very basic, nicely whitewashed walls. But believe you me, in 1884, when they were condemned to die, these cells were a horrible green colour. Dank, wet, vermin running around. So you can imagine the two women sitting here, waiting to be taken away. Here's something. What if they wanted to spend their last penny of the insurance money? Have a look at this. It's a loo. But it's no ordinary loo. What's missing? Well, I'll tell you what's missing. It's the chain, just in case you want to. Couldn't have that in a condemned cell. And there's the flush when they had to use it. When they were taken from here to Kirkdale Jail, the most notorious in Europe, in fact, Lubyanka in Russia was actually based on Kirkdale Jail. And it was there on the 3rd of March 1884 that both Catherine Flanagan and Margaret Higgins were hanged side by side in Kirkdale's execution shed during a snowstorm. And there ends the sad story of the 2 Scotland Road Black Widows. For people who have followed the Liverpool Unravelled series, here's a piece of Liverpool unnoticed. So you've lived in Liverpool all your life and you think you know your own city. Well, what if someone asked you to point them in the right direction for a little piece of Egypt? Where would you tell them to go? Well, right here is the little piece of Egypt when you look at this. We haven't only got one Sphinx, we have 4, and they're right here on the grounds of Liverpool University. And imagine this, if Liverpool has its own parliament, this is the building I'd choose to represent Liverpool and its MPs. So come with me and have a look inside. If this was the Houses of Parliament and you were here on May the 11th, 1812, you would have heard 2 shots ring out. Bang, bang! There was deafening silence. And then chaos broke out. MPs started to realise that Spencer Perceval, the Prime Minister, had just been shot. Not only had been shot, he'd been fatally wounded. 2 questions have to be answered. Why would anybody want to assassinate the British Prime Minister, Spencer Perceval? And second, who? Intellectuals like the poets Wordsworth and Blake really thought that this was the first shot of the revolution. Of course it wasn't, but there was one man who had a revolt against the British establishment, and in particular, our British Prime Minister, Spencer Perceval. The assassin was John Bellingham of Duke Street, Liverpool. We have to go back in time to the events leading up to May the 11th, 1812, and that tragic day, because John Bellingham actually traded with Russia, and his Russian agent went bankrupt. And unfortunately for Bellingham, he was thrown into a debtor's prison here, where he spent a few months. On his release, he came out, but went straight over to Russia, where he ordered the Russian government to pay him compensation. Unfortunately for Bellingham, he was thrown in jail there. And on his release from there, he had this terrible, terrible angst against the British government, and in particular, Spencer Perceval. And when he got no joy at all from the British government, because he wanted compensation off them. And unfortunately for him, he was getting no compensation off anybody. He even wrote to the Prince Regent. Prince Regent wrote back saying, "I'm sorry, I can't help." So therefore, what Bellingham did, he acquired 2 pistols, and the plot manifested. Bellingham, on the 11th of May, 1812, went to the Houses of Parliament, and it was there that he jumped from behind a column as Spencer Perceval, the British Prime Minister, was walking down to take his seat, and he shot him. There were 2 local MPs who knew Bellingham. One was George Gascoigne, and the other, Bannister Tarleton. And it was they who apprehended Bellingham until he was arrested. Bellingham was tried and convicted of the crime and actually hanged at Newgate Prison exactly 1 week later on the 18th of May, 1812. We've only ever had one assassination of a British Prime Minister. Through sheer frustration and circumstance, Bellingham became the ultimate in political villainy by assassinating the British Prime Minister, Spencer Perceval.
How about that?
Fantastic.
First one scared the crap out of me. I think I know those 2 women now. They're still alive. I think I work with them. It's terrifying. And I didn't like in the second one, you kept jumping out of these bloody side doors. That scared the crap out of me as well.
Oh, it don't look that frightening, do you?
A bit of acting there, Frank.
I think, well,
this happened.
This is it, you see. You know, I think you'll have to do a little bit of acting. But, you know, it's strange the way, you know, some people don't realise, because Sir Spencer Perceval, his ancestral home was the White Mansion House up in Calderstone. Is it Calderstones or yeah?
Yeah.
They wanted to knock it down. I said, you can't knock that down. The only British Prime Minister to be assassinated, and that was his ancestral home. And it was a beautiful bit. Well, it still is. It's still there today now, thank God, and it's being utilised. So, you know, this is what I mean about city planners having a bloody clue about heritage, about history, about anything, if you know what I mean. And that's the way it is. That's the way, unfortunately, some of these things happen. It's like, I'll just show you this again. It's like, you know, I don't know whether you can see that or not. I just don't. I'm going to try and get this thing on. Let me see. Please let me see. I don't know how to switch this on, do you know? Oh, yeah. I wonder if it's on there. Let's see. Just bear with me on this. No, it's not there. I thought that map was on my other monitor here, so I could pinpoint where I'm talking about. And what it is, can you see Central Station there? It's in the middle, right in the middle, smack bang in the middle. I'm sorry that I can't even show you, you know, but it's smack bang in the middle of the picture, Central Station. And what they did there, you know, Central Station has a beautiful frontage, a proper, beautiful frontage. And they knocked it down to what you see today. And that's the lunacy of it. And you have the entrance to, well, it should have been the entrance to where that monstrosity is. Hang on, excuse me. Excuse me, Jason's on the thing. I bet he's got it here. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. He said there's zoom in. There, look.
Wow.
Right. See, you've got that's St. Luke's Church, the bombed out church as we know.
Yeah.
And just above it is Central Station. Just above it, that's Central Station. The unfortunate thing that as I said, they knocked it bloody well down. The wonderful stuff. Yeah, there it is. See? There it is. See it?
Yeah.
Just knocked it down. Just knocked it down. Such a shame. Such a shame. And people think that, you know, that we haven't had buildings or anything, you know, like I've shown before. Like those two buildings to the right of it, the top to the right of it, with the big tower, two big towers. Incredible. Incredible. And that's the shame. Do you know what that was?
No.
That was a theatre. It was a theatre, a very fine theatre at that.
Wow.
John Bishop's, I did Who Do You Think You Are for John Bishop. I did it for him. And his great uncle starred in that. He was in a troupe, what you call a troupe. And he went over to America and he went down. It's funny, but you've got to bear with me on this. He went down to South America, Alabama. We went to. And what they were, what they were dressed up like was, do you ever remember the black and white minstrels?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were dressed up like. Now you're going back to the 1870s. So they were dressed up at this little troupe, three of them, and they went down to Alabama. They were in New York, everybody loved them, and they went down to Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And they were nearly killed. They were nearly killed because the way they got dressed up.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? Nearly 100 years later, that the black and white minstrel show was banned. It was banned, wasn't it? You know, I'm talking about you couldn't dress up as these people.
That was one of the most excruciating things on TV when we were kids, is that on whatever night it was.
Saturday night it was.
Yeah. But even then, in the middle of the 70s or whatever, late 70s, it was very uncomfortable to watch. And it's just like you thought, what for? What is? Wow.
And that, you know, like, this is the picture. Look at it. That's the print of it.
Yeah.
You can't see that arrow, can you? It's a shame, really. But anyway, that, you know, which is to the right, top right, those two towers. There it is there,
Wow.
top of the entrance. But they knocked one tower down. Then, you know, they just knocked it down. That's Central Station. That's Central Station. And only a few years ago, to the extreme right, is the Lyceum. And that was that opens up in 1801. And some of the greats, the likes of William Roscoe, used that place. Great writers used that place.
Wow.
Mark Twain, when he visited Liverpool, he was going all around. He went in there. God blimey. Excuse me. Jay, I'm live on air. No, Jay, I thought that you'd be coming on, and I said I'll ring you right after the show. I know, I'll explain later on. Is that okay? I will. Right after the show, I'll give you the bell, mate. Okay. See you later. Jay was telling me about we're not getting a number 6. Just because they're all going on about it. You know, it's just nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. Will Peace says, great stuff, Frank. Thank you, Will. And sound that. Sound. But you see, look what we've knocked down. For what? For what? And this is what Liverpool's to blame for. Knocking unbelievable buildings down for no apparent reason. They wanted to knock the Lyceum down to make another, you know, that thing that's in Williamson Square, you know, that dome thing, you know, that you walk through into Williamson Square.
Yeah.
From Church Street. Shocking. They wanted to do one there so you could walk up Bold Street. A big dome with a few shops in. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me see this. Look at that. Just look at that. Do you see, like, there's a ship, I'm trying to explain here. There's a ship on the left, direct left, in like a dry dock. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Do you know when you go down a pier head and you're looking over from the Maritime Museum over towards the Liver building? I don't talk about those black granite things. You're looking over and you see the graving dock. That's them. That's them. That's where ships were fixed. And they're still there. They're still there today, thank God. They're still there. And this is, you've only got to look at the, you know, the amount of ships that came through Liverpool. Unbelievable. It was incredible because where you see those, you've still got the 3-masted vessels, but also you've got the little steamships as well. There you go. This one on the right. That's what you get. That's on there. That is there. And that's a print from 1885. But they had the vision to keep that. They had the vision. And don't forget that the likes of the Albert Dock was the first of its kind in the world in 1846, because it dealt in safety all the goods that came into Liverpool, because there was lots of pilfering going on. They said, we've got to do something to stop this pilfering, because insurances were going up. And ships said, hang on a minute, the insurance to go to Liverpool to unload is dreadful. So anyway, they built that. And I've said this before, I was on 3 different days on 3 different channels. I was on 2 channels for Japanese television, different channels as well, over 2 consecutive days. And on the 3rd day, I was doing something for German television. And they were more interested in the Beatles, believe it or not. But they wanted me to show them around. And I've shown, when I go down there, if I've got people with me, I show them from a different angle. The Albert Dock. The Albert Dock. And that's a great angle that Jason's put up.
Yeah.
Look at it. You've only got to look at it. And when I showed these people, these television crews, they were flabbergasted. But I also showed 11 astrophysicists, and they couldn't make it out. They said that's the most remarkable piece of engineering we've seen. And look at it. Look at the size of that project. It's in the middle of a river. Look at it. It's in the middle of a river. What else could be done? And that opens in 1846. So the engineering in Liverpool was phenomenal.
Yeah.
We opened up the very first wet dock in the world in 1715. That engineering was a piece of, one of the finest pieces of engineering in the world. I put that, I know this may sound mad, but think about it. I put that like the pyramids, and I'll tell you for why. The pyramids today, they've been copied as 10,000 years old. 10,000, think about that. And when you look at them, even Americans, they tried to build one the size of the glass one that's in the Louvre, outside in the piazza in the Louvre, that glass pyramid. And what wasn't glass they were building, though, the Americans, because they thought that they could do it. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. You've only got to look at the what's it they call it? Forget what they call it. And it's the first 7-star hotel in Dubai. And it's one of their, is it Toby? I forget what you call it. Their ships, with the sail that goes like that. It's bent. And they put it, they were a bit, and it's keeled over, it's keeling over. Think about it. Look at that. That doesn't keel over. That doesn't keel over. And when you look at the pyramids, what the Americans were trying to do, 10,000 years, it's moved less than a quarter of an inch on soft sand. Think about it. And this is what you get, you see. Because I love, I go to Rome quite a lot. I'm a hugger. And when I see the Colosseum, I go over and I hug it. People must think, oh, look at that lunatic. I'm hugging it. I'd love to kiss it. Because I'm looking at workmen 2,000 years ago putting this masterpiece together. And when I walk around the Albert Dock, I'm looking at it and saying to myself, do people realise this is in the middle of a river? How was it in the middle of it? How did they build it? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible. It really is. And when you see things like this, which is just absolutely amazing. It really is. And you see that church there, and I bet you can't guess what church that is. Well, that church is where the Victoria Monument is today, because that's Castle Street leading down to the dome of the town hall. But they've got it's out of size really is the St. Nick's Church. St. Nick's Church. But the one in the foreground here, that was St. George's Church. And that had been there since 1727. So they decided to knock it down to make a memorial for Victoria. So that's why you've got Queen Victoria's monument on that site. Which to me, they could have put it anywhere and saved that church because it's a great piece of architecture.
Yeah.
It really is. And they knocked it down in 1996 to build that monument for Queen Victoria. Don't get me wrong, the monument's great. It really is. I love things like that. But I wouldn't have knocked that down. They could have easily put it in a different site or on a different site and just kept that wonderful, beautiful building. And they were making excuses about why they were knocking it down. That some vicar, was in there, he was blaspheming and everything else. He said, "Oh, we got to knock that down. We can't have any blasphemers." So he knocked it down to build F.M. Simpson's Victoria Monument. But it's as I said, it's a great piece of artwork. You've got to embrace art.
Yeah.
And I embrace that. Anything to do with statues, I embrace. But one thing I don't embrace of statues, and I've mentioned this, there it is here. There it is.
Wow.
That's unbelievable, Thanks, Jay. That's an unbelievable piece of artwork in that building.
Yeah, the sense of scale with it, with the people in the foreground.
Yeah.
It's almost cathedral size, isn't it?
It is. It was huge. It was huge. When you look at St. Nick's, that was dwarfed to it. But you've got St. Peter's in Church Street. Now, St. Peter's, that was built in 1701. Think about that. And they knocked it down in 1923. Now, they should have kept that because that became the provincial or the pro-cathedral when we got our city status in 1880. So we decided to knock it down, after we were building our Anglican cathedral. So they said, well, we've got no use for that now, the pro-cathedral. And the same as with the Catholic cathedral as well. You had St. Nick's Church, which was absolutely magnificent on Brownlow Hill. Beautiful. And I know lads who went to that church and they said inside was absolutely beautiful. And we don't know where all the art stuff went. There it is.
Wow.
There it is. So you see, you know, what they knock down, people don't realise. All right, the churches, but I don't know. It's once a cathedral goes off, you know, they knock the next best down, which is the Pro Cathedral. So there was two Pro Cathedrals. Many people know that, you know, provincial cathedrals, that is, in Liverpool. One for the Anglican and one for the Catholic. Thanks, Jason. Great, Jason. It's lovely. It's lovely.
One of those provokes a million stories, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Do you see you know, the north end of the hall, and you see a dome, don't you? You know, one of the, well, the architect of that was Cornelius Sherlock. And Cornelius Sherlock, he loved going to the likes of Athens and Rome. And this is why we've got such fine, beautiful, neoclassical stuff. Beautiful. So what had happened was, he went, and it's my favourite building in the world, this, by the way, I'm going to tell you. My favourite. And it's the Pantheon in Rome. And it was built, believe it or not, it was designed by Emperor Hadrian, famous for his wall. But he never only built one wall, Hadrian. He built a few of them around the empire. He said, we're going nowhere. We're not going any further. Why do we want to go further? Why expand the empire? It's ridiculous. So he built one in Spain. He built one in Gaul, France. He built one in Germanica, Germany. So he built them all around. And he built the one here, just cutting off Scotland. He said, we're not expanding anymore. It's nuts. So he built the Pantheon. And Cornelius Sherlock was looking at the Pantheon. So what a beautiful, beautiful building. 2,000 years old. And it's still being utilised today. And when Cornelius Sherlock seen it, he said, I'm going to put that dome on my building. And that's what you see today. You see the dome of the Pantheon.
Yeah.
And it was the very first dome ever built. No one could build domes. It's got a big hole in the top of the roof. A big hole. And I went in there once and it was lashing with rain. The most remarkable thing, that no rain was coming through the roof. The hole. None. Incredible. So you see, you know, our buildings, and we, you know, we take great inspiration. I'm talking about architects. We take great inspiration. And you've got, you know, to the left of St. George's Hall there, you've got St. John's Church. Because people, one of the myths, you know, why didn't he build the, you know, the steps and the plateau, you know, the other way around into the gardens? Well, there was no gardens there because there was a church.
Yeah.
And it was a cemetery. It was a cemetery. And there is still, when they decided to knock it down, funnily enough, in 1896, stay like the St. George's, like Victoria's Monument there, well, the site of, same year. And when they knocked it down, here it is. when they knocked it down, they took up all the English. They took the English up, that were interred. God knows where they put them. Don't know. So they took all them up. But there are still bodies interred there. And who they are? There are 2,000, get onto this, 2,000 French prisoners of war from the Napoleonic Wars buried there. Still there. And every year, I don't know whether they do it now. I just don't know. French dignitaries came over and always laid flowers and a wreath, because on one of the back walls in St. John's Gardens, there's a big plaque, and it's both in French and English, commemorating the people that are still buried there. But the unfortunate thing is that we tried to film it. And it was shocking it really, because we couldn't see the writing. It's very hard, because it's just carved in. It's pure white, the stone, and it's very hard to read. And we couldn't film it, to put on.
Yeah.
And so I suggested to the council, I'm going back years ago, why don't you, get something, so that you can read it, fill it in with something. Falls on deaf ears, Falls on deaf ears. And where the, I'll just show you this. Where the stone is, where you see the front of the church there, it's at the back of the church. It's at the back of it, on a wall, where the seating, now, today. But look at the balustrades around the gardens. Look at the balustrades. And on the right, you've got all the railings, because you had railings and big gates, iron gates. And unfortunately, they actually went for the First World War. Let's take them up now. Let's make bullets out of them, or whatever. You know what I mean? The Midnight Choker. Is that London Road? Yeah, there it is. Isn't that great? Whoever took that. See, but it's very, very hard to read. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. And it was all the lads. It was all the lads. It's shocking, isn't it? Yeah. It's shocking. It's just one of these. I've got to answer this. They're all going on about these. FSG out now says Kenny's from heaven. Kenny's from heaven. Our lads are great, aren't they? And David Shakespeare, he's a very quiet man, in reality. He said, Frank Anthony, Colin, do you think we will get anyone now? No. I wanted Edison in the first place. I don't trust the owner. I'm being honest, I don't trust them. Ever since the Shoemani, the Bellingham, the Casino, because we were, it's just like that, this deal with Zuma Mendy.
Oh, we did dodge a bullet with Casino, though, wasn't we?
I don't know, because we were after a number 6.
Yeah.
And Kenny from Evans says, sorry, I thought it was the footy show, mate. Kenny's, don't worry, because all the lads have been going on. And we still read your comments out. But the footy show tomorrow night, and it should be hard. It should be hard, if you know what I mean, the footy show. Because everybody is disappointed. I've got my own take on it because that lad, unfortunately, Zubamendi, he had his arm twisted up his back as far as it could go by the club. He wanted to go, but the club forced him. Blackmail, emotional blackmail as well. So all the Sociedad fans will be made up. They'll be delighted.
2 weeks to go, yeah, Frank. 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, but
anything can happen.
Yeah, but we wanted a quality number 6.
Yeah.
So we really did. Everybody knows that. We don't want another panic buy. That, you know what I mean? We've got the money there. We've got the money. I'd just go after Edison, but apparently, as someone said, they're out of it now. Well, Kenny from Evans said, Darren on your channel said all along it was a PR spin from FSG. I hoped he was wrong. He was right. Well, Darren, his name's Norman, and he uses his wife's tape. I was caught, honest, when he first started commenting on the football show. I was saying, and there's the lovely Anne. There's the lovely all the time. And I said, thanks, Sam. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. You know, and all this. And he came on one week. He said, Frank, I'm not Anne. I'm Norman. I'm using my wife's tea. I was calling him lovely Anne. And it's just like Kenny's from Evan. Kenny's from great. I love that name. Fantastic. Fantastic. And looks like you were right about Edwards too, and Cole. Yeah. Never trusted them. But they might come out because there will be a fallout over this. You know, with the fans, that is.
Yeah.
And if they don't do anything. And Gary said, I might have to bail out of tonight's show. Sorry, Frank. I wanted to talk about history. I'm a big red, but you don't have to know all the ins and outs of it. Yes, Gary. I know that you're a big history fan, but I haven't finished with history because Gary, I'm just answering these questions because you know the comments, that is, and. Anthony is a big red. Colin, the wonderful guest, is a big red as well. So, you know, just answer them. That's all. But I am still talking about history. So, and that's the thing you say about what's on the back wall. That's it. Kenny, I've just seen your comment. Just come back tomorrow night. I'll be doing a show tomorrow night. Football show. That's all. So, see, it was very hard to read. You couldn't read it. And I still can't read that now.
No.
But maybe you think that the council would do something so that you could read it.
They might not be able to, Frank. It's a weird thing, though, that years ago, traditionally, there used to be a thing called brass rubbing in churches and churchyards, and they would have not quite art students, but people who were interested, and they would put special paper over tombstones and things and rub, so the lettering would come on the paper. So you And then they would be displayed somewhere.
Yeah.
So we need something like that there.
Yeah, of course. But just falls on deaf ears, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you look at that and look at the western facing it, the hotel.
Yeah.
And today it's back to being a hotel.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest hotel, the biggest roomed hotel in the world at one time.
Wow.
With 370 rooms. But
Wow.
what I show people when I've got them, when I'm on the plateau, you go, wow. And it's on the building. You just go, wow. So it's good, to show these wonderful things. And as I said about that wonderful dome, the Cornelius Sherlock, got the inspiration for that dome from the Pantheon in Rome.
And again, that's the wonderful thing about the human mind, is that we're all inspired by stuff, and sometimes it stays buried for years and then comes out in something else.
And when you look at Lime Street Station and the expansion, the glass, that was the biggest in the world too.
Yeah.
Glass expansion of a railway station. Biggest in the world at the time. Don't forget that railway station came in 1836. It's incredible what we have.
It is.
Absolutely amazing.
But it's like we've said, it even now, you get off the train at Lime Street and the first view you have is the hall and William Brown Street and the buildings. Yeah. That's the biggest wow factor as an entrance to Liverpool.
Yeah. It is the big entrance to Liverpool. I was in Bowl Street, and I was standing outside Maggie Mays. Had just been in there, and we know Maggie Mays, don't we, Anthony?
Yeah.
And I was standing outside there, and up walking was Alison Steadman. She was doing some filming. She wasn't like the cameras weren't on her there. They were just walking up. They were on the way somewhere. And I said, "Hello, Alison." And she went, "Oh, hello." I said, "Can I show you something?" And she said, "We're in a rush, we're full." I said, "No, won't take 2 minutes of your time. And what I'm going to show you, you will love." And she went, "Oh, okay." And I just crossed over. I said, "Have a look up there." Walked up a bit. I said, "Have a look up there. What you see?" And she looked. And she said, "It looks lovely." I said, "Do you know that the Audsley brothers, who designed that for their friend, it was a townhouse in Bowl Street?" I said, "That is the original copy of Juliet's balcony." And she went, "But it doesn't look like Juliet's balcony." I said, "That was the original." I said, "Because when the Audsley brothers were over there, they wanted to do something extraordinary. So they decided to do for their friend Juliet's balcony." She said, "But it doesn't look like it." I said, "I know. Because in 1934, Il Duce, Mussolini, he said, that balcony should be sticking out so that people can stand on it." So they did away with that one and built the one that comes out. So that's not the original balcony. And we're the only ones who's got not the original, but the copy of Juliet's balcony. And she went, "Wow." I said, "Well, there you go." And she said, "Only in Liverpool." I said, "Precisely." Because as you know, Colin, she's a Scouser.
Yeah, she is.
It was great just showing her it, because she's a fine actress, a wonderful actress, and she just couldn't get up. People brought her. Yeah, I'll have a look at that, because they think that Juliet's balcony was the original balcony that Shakespeare wrote about, and it wasn't, because Il Duce in 1934 had that balcony built. How about that? But there was a balcony there, but it wasn't jutting out. It wasn't jutting out. Good, eh?
Brilliant.
Very.
Brilliant.
And look at that. Just look. I love our old Prince.
Yeah.
I just loved them. You know. And when you look at that, you've got there's Dale Street there, and you've got the which is now not the loft. What's the bloody name of the you know, the old what's the name of it again now? Anyway, that's Dale Street. And the the old municipal building has become now a pub and a hotel. Is it Radisson? I'm not quite so sure. In Dale Street, I'm not quite so sure what the name of the hotel is now.
That's
and
true.
there it is, you know, more or less in the not in the middle, but it's, you know, to the right. And you can see everything there. And further along, you can actually see the domes of, you can actually see the dome of the town hall. Again, St. Nick's Church, St. George's Church. See what I mean? So, and in the city, we had loads of domes. There was loads of them all over the place.
Very Venetian, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I stayed in the Radisson Red Hotel last Thursday. What once the Northwestern Hotel. Yeah, the Northwestern Hotel. That's what I was talking about before. That's what I was talking about. And Mark Simon says the Picton Library is the most beautiful interior, but to cover the beautiful wooden floor with that blue, please, I know. It's to save it, as they said, Mark. It's to save the floor itself. No one realizes. But the beauty of Liverpool and the interior of buildings is phenomenal. Phenomenal. When you go in, just go into the Roscoe reading room in the Picton Library. Beautiful. And Mark says the hotel is called the Municipal, Frank. Soon to be our first 5-star. Brilliant. I made up. I didn't know that it was called the Municipal. I didn't know that. To have a 5-star hotel, we haven't got one. And I said to Rod's Home, we know Rod's Home, don't we, Anthony?
Yeah.
I said to him, why haven't we got this was the building of Liverpool one. I said, why aren't we getting a 5-star hotel? And he said, to have a 5-star hotel, you're not going to believe this. You've got to have a swimming pool and a car park. I said, well, can you put one in the Hilton? He said, can't. So, the Municipal, if that's going to be our 5-star hotel, it's already got a car park right at the back. And that's fantastic, that. Thank you, Mark. So there must be building it'll be an indoor one, believe it or not, being indoor one. And a pool. And the vlogs. Hello, lads. Good show. Been listening in the background. Thank you. Listen, and funny enough, Jay says the picture shows how busy it is. Yes, it does. Look at the river. Look at that river. And the vlog says, got to say, Frank, Colin looks a bit like Marty Murray from Brookside. I think a Liverpool actor. I think real name is Neil Capel. He's talking about you, Colin.
I know, yeah. Marty Murray. I don't know who Marty Murray is. I'll have to have a look who Marty Murray is. At least he didn't say Marty Feldman.
You'd be looking at the pictures all over the place if you were that. Do you know what, lads? It's been wonderful.
Enjoyed this. Yeah.
It's been wonderful. Would you come on again, Colin?
Oh, God, point? Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, loved it.
And I was told by Jason, the producer, that you'd like to come on one sometime.
On your TV film thing? Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. You're doing that on a Saturday morning, don't you, Frank?
Yeah, 10:30 Saturday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Well, what he says, he played Ray Quinn's dad anyway.
I do know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
What happened to Ray Quinn? I know he became big with, Skating on Ice, was it, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
He's a good kid.
He went into theatre stuff, didn't he? I think he went into theatre.
Yeah, he did. But, you'd hardly hear from him. About him, not from him. About him. And Tony Ellis.
Liverpool will sign him as a last resort in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, everyone's going to go to sleep and have murder or get onto some football shows tonight. Venting their anger at the owners. I'm telling you now. Let's just say that was the last one for me, and it's just for me to say, boys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank.
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And that play again, we can talk about that because on the film and TV review, and when it's going out, and things like that, if you don't mind.
Definitely love to, Frank. Thank you.
Because people will go along. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
Paul Turner says, brilliant show, Frank. Every week I find out something different about the city which I didn't know about, and love to point it out when I'm in the city. That's nice. I wish you would have been there with me last week, Paul, when I had that walk. You would have been jaw-dropping. You would have been going. Telling you now. I don't know, Will P stays with us all night. Good show, guys. Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Will.
Me and Will go on there. I just go on this stream on all there is, it's an airport. And it's out of the way. It's at Nuuk in Iceland. And Nuuk is the capital of Iceland. You want to see the weather in the winter. Extreme. It's woeful. And you've got these planes flying incredible. But you see the workers, you know, in the airport, like it's all outside, and the workers are brilliant, and it just fascinates you. It really does. It fascinates you. And in the background, you've got like floating ice. And you go on to another stream at another place in Iceland. I can't pronounce it, not Iceland, Greenland. And they've got, they've got funny names. And you see a fella, and he's just working, you know, whatever he's doing, and, you know, by a helicopter. And as he's working, there's a massive, it's like a mountain, and it's a nice big. Look at that. What's he making next to that? Incredible. You know, extreme weather, freezing cold, freezing, and it snows. And then, you know, as the springs come, it rains. And yet they're expanding the airport. And they work. You want to see them working. They're expanding this airport. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they're Paul saying, good night, Colin and Anthony.
Good night, Paul. Thank you.
And the vlogs. You had 20 new subs in the last week. I've noticed, Frank. Have I? Thank you, vlogs. Vlogs is the, you know, the sub man. He keeps an eye out. Thanks about that. The vlogs. Good night. Says Will P, Colin, Anthony, and Frank. And he's telling me off.
Good night, Will.
Greenland, Frank, not Iceland. Sorry about that. Close, yeah. It's like a mate of mine. He used to come on the Pain, and he moved to Liverpool from Stoke. And anyway, when he was on his way, he had the name of the street, and the name, he said, the fella said to him, just ask anybody where Frost Building is. And the building's still there, Frost Building today. It's a Wetherspoons now, but it's Frost Building. Everybody knows it's Frost Building who live around there. So anyway, he goes up, and he got there to this fella. He has a little case with him, you know, because he was moving into this place, in this name of the street, I forget the name of it. And he says, excuse me. And the fella looks at him and he says, yeah. He said, could you tell me could you tell me where this is, Frost Building? He said, oh yeah. He said, you're all right, lads. He said, it's facing Iceland. He said he thought he was taking the piss. He said, I said nothing and walked away just in case he it's facing Iceland, Frost Building facing Iceland. And it is, you know. Oh, was that half funny? I was laughing my head up. Mark Simons, good night and God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Paul Turner. Next one, Frank, it will be fascinating. I was in Southport paying my respects to the three little girls. Oh. Let me know when you do another one. I will do. I'm doing murders on it won't be those children, it won't be that. These are the, you know, going back 19th century murders, 20th century murders. It won't be them. And the following week, I'll be doing like the social issues again, what's going on. So each Wednesday, there'll be different topics, the likes of people like the murders, you see, you know, talking about these murders, because I asked them, they said, yeah, do it. So I'll be doing that on Wednesday, be doing the footy show tomorrow, and you know, the footy show again on Thursday, but I'll be doing the murders on the Wednesday, and on Saturday morning at 10:30, I'll be doing the film and TV review. which should be a film and TV series review. That's what I'll be doing. And any more paranormal shows coming up, Frank? Love them, says the vlogs. Yeah, he'll be coming back, Jamie. He'll be coming back to frighten us all. I had a bloody nightmare through him when I went to bed. I was lying there like a big lump, as you did, lying there in bed like that. And I left me wardrobe. I've got a pine wardrobe, beautiful pine. And you know the way you leave a door open? And I'm lying there, like this, trying to go to sleep. In the dark, and the next. Oh, God. Horrible. Just got a message off Jason. I'd be wanting to kick me head in for going over time. Yeah, he's just said we've got another paranormal girl. She's an American, Kalila Smith. She's on in a few weeks' time. And then after that, after she's been on, we've got Jamie again on. So you've got a couple of paranormals vlogs coming very soon. A couple of paranormals. And the vlog ends by saying, I remember your stories, Frank, in St. George's Hall. Did you see that? Yeah, the flimsy door. The bottom of the steps going into the cell was going into the holding cell. That was frightening, that to me. That was very frightening to me. And I don't care what anyone says, something was holding me and didn't want me to go in. Horrible. But yes, and thanks for reminding me, blogs. I hope you get frightened. I've just got to thank Jamie. Not Jamie, I'm sorry. I've just got to thank Jason, because without Jason, I can't do all this stuff. And getting the lads on, the likes of the wonderful Anthony, my friend, and this other fella named Colin. Hives. Colin, you definitely will come on with me, won't you?
Definitely, yeah, definitely we'll do it. Definitely.
Because your films, I know that. You want to come on one Saturday morning, Anthony?
I would love to. I mean, I would love to listen to you two talk more about film. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Colin's show coming to.
Well, that's it. It's wonderful, and let's support him.
Yeah,
let's support that way when it comes out. It's coming out in October. Did you say?
November the 8th.
November. There you go.
The 8th, yeah.
I'll be doing a special on here on the 5th. On the 5th of November about the gunpowder plot.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that for everyone. And there's the vlogs laughing at me because I got frightened by the creaking of the door. So anyway, I just got to say, Colin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. Nice to meet you, Tony.
Anthony, my friend, my good friend. And I'll see you all this week sometime, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Speak soon, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, the chat are absolutely brilliant, simply because without the lads, without the chat, there'd be no Frank Carlyle Show. Without the likes of Jason, there'd be no Frank Carlyle Show. And without you guests, you wonderful people, there'd be nothing to talk about. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow night, people. Football show.
See you, Frank.
Should be a laugh.